glad you could tune in with us today. My name is Eva Schulte, and I'll do a few logistics before we officially begin. So if you are new to our Whatcom Community College Foundation webinar series, please note that the participants who are speaking can be seen live. All other participants will be available to introduce themselves via chat. So please tell us your name, your organizational affiliation. If you're an alumni with us, tell us what year you graduated, and leave that in the chat so we can see who's participating this morning. Also, please note that there's a Q&A feature. If you go to the lower bar and toggle there, you can ask a question of anyone in our lineup today on work-based learning. So now to officially begin, welcome. Again, my name is Eva Schulte. I serve Whatcom Community College as the Executive Director for Institutional Advancement. And we are focused on staying connected during this time of remote learning. We also are innovating and piloting new activities. We have a very special announcement today that I'll speak about shortly. But the intent is to engage you, business, corporate, civic leaders, donors, community members, to stay connected to how we support students during this time, whether it's adult learners returning to find a new career that's exciting and motivating to them, or a new young learner through Running Start. We're excited to welcome students to campus this summer and soon in a remote fashion that's constantly being reinterpreted daily this fall. So with no more introduction, I want to share Tanya Wagner is our Dean of Workforce, and we're so excited she can join us today to speak about work-based learning at Whatcom Community College. Tanya.
Oh, thank you, Eva. That's wonderful. What an honor. So happy to be with all of you today. Again, I'm Dr. Tanya Wagner. I'm the Dean of Workforce Education here at Whatcom Community College, and I've had the pleasure of serving here since November. I've had the opportunity to meet many of you, but not all of you. And so it's just great to be here. I'm just giving a brief introduction, sharing some of our passion and enthusiasm for work-based learning. So as Dean of Workforce Education, I oversee all of our workforce education programs. So that spans information technology, nursing, all of our allied health programs, and business and accounting. So a huge range, paralegal. And something that's really important in all of our workforce education programs is that we incorporate work-based learning. So work-based learning is a broad term. It encompasses a lot of things. It includes paid work, internships, micro-internships, and others. The great thing about work-based learning, you probably already know this, those of you who've either hosted interns or been an intern yourself, is that work-based learning is a great way to build confidence. It helps students increase their skills and add to their resume. It helps people build professional relationships, and cannot underestimate the importance of building strong professional networks. It also helps expose our students to real-world problems and contextualize their learning. It's one thing to read something in a book. It's another thing to come up with a marketing plan on the fly when you're working with a company, right? These opportunities are invaluable, and they help folks navigate the labor market and really learn skills that are very difficult to teach in the classroom, especially those interpersonal and work skills. So our real focus at Whatcom is helping our students have substantive experiences. A substantive experience isn't necessarily something that's really long-term, but something that's meaningful. So for example, our students can have what we call quote-unquote micro-internships. These micro-internships are really project-based and help students tackle a real-world problem at your organization. They can span from a 15-hour project to a 200-hour project and do something like map community resources or do an evaluation of an environmental outcome of some activity. Could really be anything tailored towards your needs and the strengths and skills of the student. So we know this. Being in the work world helps us build our passion and increase our depth. It really gives us a hook into the work that we're doing, but it also gives us a hook into certain organizations. So having experience on site at a company is a great way to kind of build your future workforce, right? Students get out on your work site and they get so excited about your company or your organization, and it really helps them understand that kind of culture, that great culture that you built on site. So in a recent report, it's not just that, Jobs for the Future describes the integration of learning and work as one of the most important strategies for equitable economic recovery. So what we know is getting students who are outside of our immediate circles that we may already know onto our worksite builds relationships with diverse communities and helps create diverse applicant pools and builds essential communication and connection. So we are really important, and think, the more diversity we can bring into our workforce, the better. We don't want to just recover as usual. We want to recover better, where our community is increasingly inclusive. We have broadened circles. We hear more ideas. We learn more from additional folks. And when we don't have diverse workforces, we really miss out on essential innovation. So we think work-based learning is a great tool for you to start to build and continue to develop your inclusive workforce. So we do have a new tool that you'll learn a little bit about later, which is WCC Pathways, which is a new software tool that can connect internship seekers to a variety of internship opportunities along their educational journey. The program allows students to select areas that interest them and can give employers the opportunity to post everything from that 15-hour internship opportunity to a full paid job. So we look forward, hopefully in the chat, you'll see a little information soon about how to connect and where to get signed up for that. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to Eva.
Tanya, thank you so much. It has been my pleasure to work with Tanya, and we have a deep desire to connect with our corporate business and civic leaders across Whatcom County. So Tanya and I will both be on the webinar after we officially adjourn to speak in detail about how we can connect, along with Michelle Heitman, who leads our internship work and placements, and Stephanie Schmidt from the Whatcom Community College Foundation. So feel free to join us afterwards if you have organizational specific questions. Also, one other piece, if you do have any technical difficulties, please contact WCC Foundation in the chat and we'll help you navigate those. So as Tanya mentioned, today's big announcement is we are launching WCC Pathways, and we're so excited for you to be able to access and connect with us seamlessly. And we'll be sure in follow-up information to also provide that link. But let's hear directly from one of our business partners who has hosted interns and furthered work-based learning in Whatcom County. I'm so excited to introduce Marilise Fegan. Marilise is a paralegal at Boundary Bay Law, where they focus on immigration law. After earning her bachelor's at Fairhaven College, Marilise graduated with a certificate in paralegal studies from Whatcom Community College, an alumni, and she was also an intern herself, so knows the value of that experience. Marilise serves on the Paralegal Studies Advisory Committee for Whatcom Community College, and most importantly, is about to be a Running Start parent. So she's worked with Whatcom for about, well, I'll let you say how many years, Marilise, but has supervised 8 Whatcom Community College interns. Thank you, Marilise, for your support of our students and work-based learning. Please share some more.
Hi, Eva. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. I'm delighted to be here. I'm very excited about the paralegal program at Whatcom and about the internship options that are available. Having been an intern myself, I feel like it was one of the most valuable parts of my learning experience there. And I was very fortunate to be able to turn my internship into my job that I have now. It's turned into a really wonderful experience for me. So I graduated from Whatcom with the certificate in 2012, and since then, the attorney that I work with and I have hosted, as Eva said, about 8 different interns. I think it could be more. I've lost count over the years. We actually have an intern now. We had several interns last year, and we're always very excited to welcome them in and have them have a learning opportunity. We have found that it's a really useful opportunity for us as well as for the students, and that's part of what's so exciting. We are able to welcome the interns in to experience what it's like being in a real office and to learn some of those hands-on skills. I know I'd like to echo some of what Tanya was saying a little bit ago about having those practical experiences that you just don't get in the classroom. Things as simple as how to load paper into the printer the right way or how to use a scanner. Those are things that a lot of people don't learn in the classroom, and having an opportunity to learn those things before you're actually going out into the quote unquote real world and experiencing those things and being expected to know how to do those things that so many people take for granted is a great opportunity to be able to practice those and learn those in a real office environment, but having some guidance and having some supervision along the way. We've been really excited to welcome the interns in. We treat it almost like a job interview when we interview our interns. We're always looking for the right fit. We're looking for somebody who has some energy and some enthusiasm for what it is that they want to do. Not necessarily somebody who already has the experience, but we're really looking for somebody who wants to learn and is excited about learning and seems like somebody who would work well with our team. And when we find that fit, that good fit, we find that the benefits from the internship are really mutual. And we try to set it up so that not only are they having a learning experience, but we're getting some assistance as well. We've got projects that we kind of put on the back burner for a while and don't really get to, things that are like, oh, we'll get to that someday, making checklists for things or updating data entry, stuff like that, things that we sort of see as mundane. But for many of our interns, it's a really excellent learning opportunity. So it's an opportunity for them to familiarize themselves with software that we use and for them to become familiar with some of the filing processes that we use. So really mutually beneficial relationship if it's set up properly. So it's always very exciting when we welcome somebody in, and I always have really enjoyed working with the interns that we've had. So I'm taking a look at my notes here. So I think it's really a great opportunity, not only for the interns, but it's a great opportunity for the business partners as well. If you look at it as a mutually beneficial relationship. So I could go on, I think, for a lot longer, but I think that kind of covers what I initially wanted to say. So I don't know if you have any other things that you wanted me to touch on, Eva.
That's fantastic, Marilise. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you in the many multifaceted ways that you connect to Whatcom. So we are recruiting more Marilise Fegans and more of you. So we have a great turnout today, as you can see in the chat. And again, we'll have opportunity to dive deeper into how you might navigate WCC pathways to recruit, to place interns and job positions as well. Because work-based learning, to Marilise's point, should result in greater economic and employment opportunities that are a win-win for both employer and student. Now we get to hear directly from our students. I couldn't be more honored to work with two of our graduates who are interning in the advancement division at Whatcom Community College. These interns are award-winning recent graduates. In fact, June Dillard was our commencement speaker, and Sarabi Subedi received one of our international awards. We're so glad to welcome both of them. And we also want to let you know that this internship was made possible by one of our donors, John Baker, who recognized the need to recruit more Whatcom students into executive leadership roles on campus so that we can raise our own talent in Whatcom County and keep that talent here. So June and Sarabi, please display your video, and I have a few questions for you. First, starting with introductions. June, could you please begin? Introduce yourself.
Of course. Thank you so much, Eva. I'm so excited to be here. What an incredible opportunity. So again, my name is June Dillard. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And just a little bit about myself. So yes, I was the commencement speaker. That was a really big part of my Whatcom experience. I was also in student government, along with Sarabi. Actually, we worked together. I was the vice president for campus advocacy. So I got to work a lot with the students and also with foundation members and the college board, and that was really exciting. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, June. Sarabi.
Thank you so much, Eva. I'm also really excited to be here, and thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. So again, my name is Sarabi Subedi, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I was also a part of student government. I worked as the ASWCC vice president for clubs, and I also was a part of the college council and college sustainability committee, as well as the ASWCC social justice committee, and really excited to be working as an intern with the Whatcom Community College Foundation.
Thanks, Sarabi and June. So now to dive a little deeper, I think it'd be helpful for those that are on the webinar this morning on work-based learning, just to hear from you directly why you sought out an internship. You're recent graduates, you're on to exciting new chapters. Why did you want this internship, and what are you learning? June, would you begin?
Of course. So I'm going to talk a lot about student government because that was just such a big part of my experience, and I just it was just such a huge part of my experience, and really helped me grow as a human being, and it really has shaped who I am, I feel. So in my position, I really felt like I was sort of the liaison between students and administration, and I really care about social justice. I was actually the social justice committee chair and the health and wellness committee chair. And those are two things that were so important to me. And so being able to kind of cross communicate, if that's a term, I don't know if that's a term, but was really something that it just felt like I was providing value to the community. And so when I heard about this internship, it sort of felt like an extension of the work I'd already begun, and I wasn't ready to give it up, and I wasn't ready to walk away from Whatcom. And yeah, I'm just so honored to be able to have this experience and to continue to be an advocate in sort of the professional realm. So yeah, I love this work, and I'm just so happy to be here.
Thanks, June. Whatcom's excited to walk with you. Sarabi, tell us, how did you choose this intern and what are you learning?
So similar to June, when I joined the student government and started working with students and employees and administration, I realized that there's so much possibility in higher education. Before that, I didn't even know higher education was a possibility for me. And so I wanted to explore more. I wanted to dive deeper and learn more about the professional experiences, and also like June said, like Whatcom has shaped me as a person. Like who I am is like so much because of like what Whatcom Community College like gave me. So just to give back to the community, I joined this internship.
Thank you. Well, you already are. In fact, Sarabi is working closely with me to raise money for a challenge grant to support art and the planet that's funded by the Skipping Stone Foundation. And we are $3,000 of the way there to our $15,000 goal, thanks to Sarabi's great support. So Sarabi and June are learning organizational management, and they're going to be leaving our advancement division with tools that our professional staff team can use. They also, as you just heard, are guiding key initiatives that will have a new contribution to give to Whatcom. And so those are items that can immediately go on their resume and they can brag about in their next career opportunity. So we're excited to be able to provide that, and most of all excited to benefit from your great talent and the commitment you bring to the work. Thank you, June and Sarabi. Just a couple more questions for you. Why do you think internship and work-based learning opportunities like this are so important for your fellow students? Sarabi, could we begin with you?
Yes. So I like, for me personally, and I know for many students, like these kind of internship gives you a hand-on experience. So you get to like understand what's a good fit for you. May it be your skill area, may it be your industry area, like organization. So it gives you that understanding of right fit. And also paid internships like this are important for students because many students can't give up paying jobs to take an unpaid internship when they have rent and bills and like all these other things to think about. So like paid internships like this are really, really important for students because they're getting paid, they're getting experience, and when they are not paid, like no matter how great the opportunity would be, like they have to say no and like go work somewhere else where they're getting like money. So yeah.
Thanks, Sarabi. How about you, June? Why are these internship opportunities so important for other students?
Well, let's see. I feel as though, oh, I think my Wi-Fi is a little bit.
You're okay. Keep going.
Uh-oh.
We
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, my internet connection isn't great. I actually feel as though internships are really mutually beneficial. And I feel like lately, because it's so mutually beneficial, it's kind of like a feedback loop in that by hiring interns and by hiring from a sort of different demographic than you might initially, you kind of bring in a more diverse set of opinions and set of talent. And just being a community college student myself, I've seen so much incredible talent from people that maybe can't afford to go to a four-year university. And I just think that, yeah, it's really good to take that opportunity to hire within community college because there's just so much talent there, and it really can bring so much perspective and connection to your intended audience from a business standpoint. So by being able to have that sort of connection and yeah, having that communication from different demographics. So I think it's mutually beneficial.
Thanks for sharing that, June. I mean, part of what I love about Whatcom and what attracted me to this fine institution is our commitment to advancing equity. So equity, inclusion, diversity, it's a core theme for Whatcom. It's something we believe and live, and we work hard to recruit and collaborate with partners that are also committed to advancing equity. We say advancing because we know we have not arrived and we have a lot of work to do across our region. And Whatcom wants to help connect employers who may have a strong network but want to diversify that network to students that are eager to step in and learn with you and from you. So June, thanks for that reference point, and Sarabi for your commitment to connect other students already to internship opportunities. So just a couple notes on internships, but Sarabi and June, hold on for 1 minute because I'm sure that everyone wants to hear what your next steps are. So there are a variety of ways you can access internship opportunities. Again, you'll have the opportunity to connect directly with Tanya Wagner, our dean, Michelle Heitman, our intern coordinator and lead, and Stephanie Schmidt, who's leading our corporate business connections for the foundation. But you heard several referenced. So the internship that June and Sarabi are in right now provides a stipend that was given by the generosity of one of our donors. We also have credit-based internship opportunities, and we have work-study opportunities where basically about 75% of the dollars that the student receives for that internship are provided by work study. So that's definitely a win-win. And all those examples can be win-wins for both students and employees. Now, June, could you start with telling us what your next steps are as you will be finalizing your internship with us and headed in new places this fall?
So I was accepted into UC Irvine, so I'm so excited to go and attend this fall. I am definitely a people person. I love helping people, I love psychology, so I decided to pursue cognitive science. So that's kind of like a general study of people, multidisciplinary, so it's super interesting and I'm so excited. And although I'm not completely clear on my career path, and I am exploring higher education through this internship, and it's been amazing. So that's definitely a prospect. But I just want to understand people and learn how to sort of help, I guess, whatever needs people might have. So be it psychology or higher education, and continue to participate in advocacy work as long as I can. So that's my plan.
Thanks, June. And Sarabi, tell us your next steps.
So I also got accepted to Smith College in Massachusetts with full scholarship. So really, really, really excited. It was my dream school and I'm really excited to go there this fall. So I am very passionate about social and environmental justice. So I'll be majoring in government with concentration in social change and sustainability with dual minor in environmental studies and international relations. So really, really excited for that. And career path, not so clear, but definitely something related to advocating for social and environmental issues and just advancing equity, both social and environmental equity. So yeah.
We are so incredibly proud of both of you. Thank you, June and Sarabi, for not only being amazing graduates and now alumni, but interns and ambassadors for how we can further work. We do have a question that I'm going to pass to our dean, Tanya Wagner. This question is from Ron Kleinknecht, our board chair of the Whatcom Community College Foundation. What a great question. How are Whatcom Community College students informed of the availability of internships? And Tanya, is there a sufficient number of sites available for all applicants?
Sure. Yeah, I actually think it's the it's always about finding the best match, right? So we have lots of opportunities for students, and we always try and find an opportunity that both the student and the employer are really excited about. So we have our new online, you might have heard about this so far in our conversation, the WCC Pathways, and what that is a site that can connect individuals with specific career interests at the college with the employers who have specific opportunities. It's really exciting. We would love to have more employers in a wider range of fields, including we are working on developing, for example, a new software developer program. And in that program, we are looking specifically for paid internships for software developer students. This is a grant that we just received. So one of our key strategies is going to be reaching out so that we can have 24 students with paid internships working on site, working in software development, for example. So we would love to have that. We're always looking for more employers in the business field as well. So we would love to have people, the more specific, the better, right? So if a student who's interested in accounting can get an opportunity to do a specific accounting project with a company that they're interested in, all the better, right? Because then they have more of those connections. So we're always looking to expand our employer pool. Michelle Heitman is a great contact for employers who are looking to just connect with somebody and maybe talk through the sorts of things that we might be interested in, and the interests that students might have. But also the sign on to our WCC Pathways is really easy. So to sign up as a company, it just takes a couple of minutes, and employers can get on there and then post any sort of short or long-term internship and or job for our students to navigate. The great thing is we're going to be integrating it into a single sign-on for students. So when they go to their student portal, they'll have the sign-in right away. So they'll see this information coming up. And our future goal is to align their educational pathway with additional opportunities beyond internships and jobs, to talk about speakers who might be coming to the area so they can continue their work exploration, events that are happening on campus that might be aligned with their work interest area. So we're really excited. Also virtual job fairs. So this one single sign-on will be readily available to students on their student portal. It'll be front and center. And then the goal is to have continued integration into their educational pathway.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Hold on a minute, because I have a couple follow-ups for you, but I do want to remind people this is your opportunity for Q&A. Feel free to go down to the bottom of your screen and you'll see the Q&A box. You can submit any question there or hold it until we officially break if it's organizational or business specific. So Tanya, if a business or a corporate employer is interested in placing an intern or thinks they might have a work-based learning opportunity, but's not exactly sure about what that opportunity is, and has some caution about who they want to recruit into that role, what would you recommend to them?
Right. So Michelle is on this line, Michelle Heitman. She's our co-op education coordinator, and she's really a matchmaker, right? So what she does is help students match their career goals and their educational goals with employers who have opportunities. So she would be a great first place to start if you're not exactly sure what you're looking for from an intern. And if you have some specific needs or something that's maybe really niche, she would happily reach out. I'm sure Michelle will put her contact info in the chat box. She's always reaching out to folks. And then we also have our Career Center. So in addition to that, Amy Rydell leads up our Career Center and works very closely with Michelle. And she also works with students, but not necessarily in as detailed a way of matching it to their educational opportunities, but use it in a broader way of helping all students just kind of connect to career opportunities. And both of them would be excellent opportunities of folks to talk to, just to talk through even some of your fears, right? Sometimes it can be a little scary about thinking about bringing on an internship, but also where there might be some opportunities. Surabhi mentioned this, and I wanted to highlight this because it's so important. Especially if we're working to advance equity, having paid internships is one of the best ways to do that. Many of our students, taking time to do an internship often costs many of our students valuable time, money, and resources that they may not have right now. So if there's any way to be able to offer a paid internship or a stipend for an internship, it definitely helps our students in so many ways. The great thing, and Michelle has been so awesome at this and so creative, is looking at different funding sources that can help organizations, especially through the Federal Work Study Program, to help students connect with employers. And then we have some actual financial resources to be able to support employers in helping to pay those students. So if you are interested in that, right, promoting equity through paid internships, but you may not have full budget, Michelle could talk through that with you as well and see if that might be a good option.
That's great. Thank you, Tanya. A couple more questions. So Deborah Granger raised a great point. So Deborah shares that she worked with Jan Adams in the past and had many interns, work-based learning co-op students from Whatcom Community College. So she said it was a great program. There are, however, responsibilities from the employer. So people need to be clear about these up front. Here's our opportunity to, one of them, to be clear. Tanya, what should employers be clear about?
Sure. Again, so there's a difference between an internship and a co-op educational experience, though a co-op educational experience is an internship. So the co-op educational experience is really an educational opportunity for students to earn credit and possibly pay for their internship. And in that process, because students are earning credit, they also have to have specific outcomes. And we have to know that those outcomes have been met. So there is some responsibility on the employer to work with the student to create those outcomes, though many of the outcomes are professional work-based learning outcomes. So for example, a business student might have an outcome of practice professional communication skills, right? That's something that's not super specific, but an employer would then help fill out an evaluation on that student so that they really understand where they have grown in that outcome. So those specific cooperative education experiences do provide a lot of richness. We brought this up at the beginning, right? It's really important for us that students are not just going out to an internship site, only making coffee and then coming back, right? We really want our students to be transformed by that experience. Eva, great example, right? You have your interns are making calls to donors, right? I'm guessing, or crafting emails. They are doing the work to really give them that sense of, is this something that I could be really passionate or excited about in my career? And is this the kind of work I really want to do? So that's our goal. And the cooperative educational experiences really do align with that and really help students, provides a little bit of accountability to both those employers and the student.
Thanks, Tanya. Another question from Corey Garcia Hansen. And the first part for you, Tanya, is there an evaluation component to WCC Pathways, our newly launched site, for both students and employers, not only regarding the individual experience, but also our overall impact?
To be honest, I have no idea, but wouldn't that be awesome, right? I think it's so important. I imagine, the something like on when I, recently stayed in Airbnb, right? Let's have some mutual assessment with the WCC Pathways. Definitely, when we're talking about the cooperative education experience, there is more accountability and co-feedback, right? So there is a little bit more of that opportunity for growth together. The Pathways website, I am not sure if there is that capability, but I would love to think about that and have a little bit of research on what that would be like. Could be a little tricky, but I'm not sure. So.
And Corey also asked a significantly important question related to our tracking of students long-term on their education and career development after the program. I'll start here by just saying a few words. I've been so impressed. I've been at Whatcom Community College in my role for 6 months to learn of the incredible institutional research this college does. And we're able to see trends and see employment opportunities, completion opportunities, but it's harder to track post Whatcom Community College, and we want to be in strategic partnership and relationship with, again, civic leaders and corporate employers, businesses, nonprofits that are helping to be that placement for students, whether through work-based learning or direct employment after graduation. But we need to have that feedback line. And so therefore this webinar to build greater partnerships with you. And we'd love to build more of that tracking once a student leaves Whatcom. Tanya, anything you'd add?
Yeah, we do have some formal evaluation tools, especially for grant reporting. So many of our workforce education programs are partially funded by a large federal grant called Perkins 5, which is currently authorized by Congress. So we have some accountability in that, and that we do track some key metrics, right? So the key metrics in that funding for workforce education are increasing diversity and increasing diversity outcomes. So we disaggregate or take apart our data to look at specific subpopulations and how well we're serving them. And in those service areas, we look at 3-year graduation rate. We look at outcomes, employment outcomes, and then we also look at transfer either to 4-year university and or military or further education or training. And so those are all key things that we're judged on, and we create specific strategies to increase our employment outcomes, make sure that our students are meeting those great living wage threshold whenever possible, and that we're helping our students continue and grow in their career path.
Great, so important. Thanks, Tanya. We have another question from Deborah Granger. What are the employer liability and intern restrictions? Are there insurance resources for the employer?
Yeah, so I would love to invite Michelle in if she's willing to answer that question. I know she probably knows better than I do, as this is a core part of her work. So.
Hi there. My name is Michelle Heitman. I'm the Cooperative Education Program Coordinator, and like several people have said, that I'm the point person if you are interested or ready to explore hosting a student intern. I am a resource to talk through those options and also market and recruit the right student for you or students. So yes, that's a great question. The college doesn't necessarily have resources to cover the employer's liability, but we do provide insurance coverage for students in our work-based learning. So that's really the extent of what we can offer to protect our students and make sure that they are safe. And that's especially a very important priority to us right now, that we are ensuring that our students are safe during this time. So I'm happy to speak further and consider the specific work-based experience and any of the concerns that each employer might have around safety and the requirements of the role. So I'm happy to engage and have a conversation.
And I'm not a business law expert, but I would assume that it'd be worth talking to your business insurance agent, because I'm assuming if an internship is formalized, there's probably some stipulation within that it falls under a certain job category that would have some protection for the employer as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Michelle. And just a note too, Michelle, how have businesses been innovating around their internship placements in this time of COVID and telework?
Right. This has been a really fun opportunity. It's been challenging, but really great to engage with employers who are open and willing to be flexible during this challenging time. Many employers have taken the leap of faith to host virtual internships, and also really explored how they can utilize interns as they are transitioning their services to virtual services. So they've been using students to help, make transition the work that they're doing on Zoom. So students have been helping facilitate those Zoom meetings and Zoom services, and then also creating unique opportunities that are really aligned with a remote internship placement. So there's been a lot of creativity and sort of flexibility and thinking outside of the box for our students. And we really appreciate that because there's definitely still a high need and a high interest for our students to continue with internships, even if they're virtual and remote.
I have to say too, Michelle, what an exciting opportunity, right? We all see that the future workforce is more remote, right? I don't know, you've all heard this in the Wall Street Journal or wherever, right? Like when after this, more work will be done virtually than was done before. It's inevitable. Companies are seeing that remote workers are just as productive in many instances, and that at minimum, work will become more hybrid, right? Some in-office time and then a lot of out-of-office time. What a great experience for our students, but also an awesome opportunity for employers to practice with having that next generation of the workforce. And really, this has been a long time coming. I think we've all been hearing this for a long time, but it took this kind of push of COVID to really get this move. But what a great opportunity to practice in a relatively low risk way is to bring on a new intern in a completely remote environment before you bring on a full-on new employee in a completely remote environment. It really gives you an opportunity to practice some of those skills as an employer of what does it mean to manage via distance and how do we help engage employees when they're not on site.
Yeah, well said, Tanya. We are in the future of work now. So, hey, one more great question from Corey Garcia Hansen. So Corey is wondering about the minimum age to participate in co-op or internships with Whatcom. She's found there's high demand for high school internships. Corey has, but challenges working with minors. Glad to hear about the insurance component. And are there any plans to work with local high schools? So either Michelle or Tanya.
Michelle, right, from the liability perspective. So I would say, continuing, right, we have a lot of students who are high school students, but they're also Whatcom Community College students. I'm not sure the exact percentage, but it's definitely double digits. Up towards 20% of our students are Running Start students. We have a lot of students who are under 18 on our campus, and in nearly every classroom. And it is our goal, as it is the goal of high schools, to get students work-based learning experiences earlier. The earlier the better. How else in the world do you know about the world of work unless you have experience on campus? I will turn it over to Michelle for the specifics of liability with co-ops, though.
Right, it's really dependent on the employers if they're willing to bring on interns younger than 18, but we've consistently had interns, Running Start interns, and it's a really great opportunity for those youth to both gain that professional experience, but also receive credit for it as they are in high school. So they're taking academic internship courses and gaining credit, and also gaining that work-based learning. So we've had a strong turnout from our Running Start students, and it's been a consistent need, and thankfully there's been many employers that have provided opportunities for students under 18.
Thanks, Michelle and Tanya. One final question before we wrap this portion of the Q&A and open up to a smaller audience. So nonprofits, health organizations, business initiative or centers that are maybe not the traditional employer, are they eligible to support work-based learning? And if so, how?
Yes, of course, right? So I would say we work very extensively with not-for-profits, probably more than we do with our corporate partners. We would love to expand both. The great thing, right? The thing we all know about, right? If you're a local not-for-profit, you are strapped. So they understand better than anyone having somebody who can come in and help them with their marketing or their accounting or a special project, how amazing that can be. And what a great opportunity for students as well. We've heard this, hearing from Sarabi and June is just so inspiring, but I'm always reminded of this. And I'm so inspired by young people. I'm glad we work in this field where we can see like people care about the future of our planet and about equity in such a deep and authentic way that many of our students are just so attracted to not-for-profit or justice-oriented opportunities because they do not want their work to be separate from their life or their personal mission. Students are passionate about changing the world, and they are passionate about having an impact in their life and making real change. So those opportunities to get in there and do something meaningful for society, I just like it just gets that passion in there, right? Students get so passionate about that. I don't, some specific funding options though, Michelle. Do you want to talk a little bit about work study and not-for-profits and how that works?
Absolutely. Whatcom Community College is a part of the federal work study program. And so if an employer or nonprofit is interested in hiring a part-time student employee, we are able to reimburse a percentage of those wages for those students. And so for-profit businesses, we reimburse 50% of those wages. For nonprofits, it's 75% of those wages. So it's a really excellent opportunity to recruit a student for a longer term placement. We're really looking for more than just 1 quarter for those work study opportunities. So if you're looking to have a student for more like a year placement, it's a great return on investment because you're able to train that student and they are staying with you and you know, providing that great service to you, and potentially will be a great employee for you in the future, but at a very low cost to your budget, you know, considering 25% of the overall wages. So there's a few requirements to be eligible that I can speak with you further about. If you are interested, you're welcome to reach out to me. I have put my contact information in the chat. It's a very simple process of setting up the contract and to work with us for work study. So I'm happy to speak with anyone further about that opportunity.
And one more question from Deborah Granger. Are we working with the Whatcom Business Alliance? And they're making a big commitment to a program called Youth Employment Service. So I know I can speak to my excitement about Whatcom Business Alliance and interest in connecting further. I'd love to learn more about the Youth Employment Service and part of the intent of this webinar. Anything else you'd like to share, Tanya?
I do not have anything more in that, and it piqued my interest, right? I would love to learn more and learn more about how we can connect.
Great. So Deborah, let's follow up on ways to make that connection. And again, that's the intent of this work-based learning webinar. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't heard it clearly already, we are actively requesting our business, corporate, employer, nonprofit, civic partners to engage with Whatcom Community College on work-based learning. We need you. You're vital to our ability to create a pathway for students for success. And now with the launch and the exciting announcement of WCC Pathways, it should be easy to connect. If you prefer to connect in person, we would love that. Tanya and I want to have virtual coffee with you. You're welcome, as you heard, to follow up with Michelle Heitman. Thank you, Michelle, for answering those questions. Stephanie Schmidt from the foundation. And of course, if you are moved by what you heard, we are always accepting donations. You can join John Baker and other donors in supporting programs like the Orchard Project, which is what funded the stipends for June Dillard and Sarabi Subedi. And we also want to invite you to continue to engage with us, with Whatcom Community College Foundation in our Stay Connected strategy. We'll have upcoming webinars on different themes, but there'll always be a resonance around the future of work and the future of education and how we're in that now. So please stay tuned for those upcoming invites and feel free to pass them on to your network. Engage with us as thought partners, donors, community advisory committee members, and stay connected. For those of you that have organization or business specific questions, we will stay on the Zoom for another 5 minutes or so to follow up with your workforce needs and ideas about how to connect. For others, thank you so much for the great participation and dynamic questions today. We value you. Have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye.